This is the KRMG Afternoon News with Skylar Cooper.
It's time for the BA Breakdown here on the KRMG Afternoon News. I'm Skylar Cooper, and we are joined live, and we say welcome back to Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon. Michael.
Thank you, Skylar. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. Let me start by giving you a very big happy birthday from all of us here at KRMG.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that. Been having a very, very blessed day, and I can tell you, I just want to send a shout out to Mayor Wimpy for covering the show last 2 weeks. I know that she did an amazing job, and I just want to publicly say how much I appreciate her covering the show and talking about all the great things happening in our city.
Yeah, same here. We were happy to have her on, and we're happy to have you back. So let's jump into it. There was one thing I wanted to ask you about. I'm sure a lot of people in BA experienced this, but it was the first year without permits being required for fireworks around the 4th of July, and it seemed like, at least in my neighborhood, a lot of people didn't really follow the ordinance as far as the timing and when they were supposed to be using them. I was curious if police had to issue a lot of citations around that or if it went pretty well. What's your take on that?
Well, obviously, I had to gather up information and get updated from my team, having not been here for July 4th. I can tell you is that it seems like the residents were very accepting of the times and days when they're allowed to shoot off the fireworks, which is the 3rd and 4th, from the 3rd and 11th. But I could tell you, based on the data that I received, they were not accepting of the fact that people were blatantly violating and ignoring the city's ordinance of shooting fireworks either on the 2nd or the 5th. So I can tell you, is the calls for service that we got on July 2nd and July 5th, we had over 300 calls and versus 127 calls that we had the previous year on those days. And so I can tell you, my direction to the staff was that if we have observed people shooting fireworks outside of the days and times, there was going to be no tolerance. And we issued approximately 100 citations for folks that blatantly chose not to comply with the city's code. So I was, very happy. Obviously, there was no way we were going to be able to catch everyone that was not in compliance. But I am happy to say that we were out there trying to stop those that chose not to comply. So I appreciate all those people that did comply with the code, and we're going to continue going forward is making sure that if we observe someone that's not in compliance with the code, they're going to get a citation.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed, too, it was unfortunate that the weather kind of messed with things a little bit. So on my street, it seemed like some people went back out after the rain, and so that sort of pushed them after the end of the allotted times they're allowed. But I didn't bother calling or anything. I thought, you know what, it's the 4th of July, but I know there's still rules out there, and you guys want people to follow them.
Well, we do, especially because there's a lot of people that don't support the fireworks. They have trouble dealing with it because of a number of different issues and animals. And, it's a tough call for the city council because we want to honor our nation's birthday. And for those people that choose not to comply, it's really unfortunate because there's a lot of people that it's hard on them. And we're trying to balance what is right to basically to honor our nation and allow those people to exercise their right to do so. But those people that don't comply, it's very unfortunate the impact that they're having on those that do have a problem with it. So we're going to continue to do public education and try to promote staying within those 2 days going forward. But I think it was a good decision to remove the permit fee and the requirement, and hopefully that folks will learn that it's important to stay just within those 2 days.
Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon is live with us on the KRMG Afternoon News for the BA Breakdown. And Michael, I was looking through the city manager's report that comes out once a month. It came out this afternoon, and I first wanted to ask you about the creation of that report and why it's important. It's a ton of information right out there for everybody to see, but I wanted to point a few things out that struck me because you and I talk a lot about road improvements, and your report today says BA crews patched more than 800 potholes, paved 11,000 square yards of streets, and painted 36,000 feet of traffic lines in June. That's a lot of work. My guess is that's more than most people realize they're out there doing all the time.
It is, and I created this report, and I've been doing it. I'm big on transparency and communication, as you know, Skylar. Been doing that my entire career, and it's evolved over time from, the late 80s when I started until now, and I'm trying to stay current. And so the city wants to be as transparent because I want people to know what's going on at City Hall because these are their tax dollars. And sometimes they don't think about all the things that are happening to make sure that we maintain a high quality of life. And there's so many facets to that, whether it's road improvements, it's parks and recreation, community development, code enforcement, always public safety being at the top of the rung in terms of priorities. This report gives everyone a snapshot for that month in time, what we accomplished. This is a culmination of all the directors that work for the city. They put this information out. We put it together. There's a cover letter. I send it to the council, and it's available on the city's website for folks to go in and take a look at all the great things that happen, you got those 1,000 employees that work for the city are out there working for this community to make sure that we maintain that high quality of life.
I want to ask you about something kind of in relation to what I read in the report today. And there's mention of the upcoming work at the Lynn Lane wastewater treatment plant. We've talked about that here, but kind of in that same vein, a different area, though. We got an open mic I wanted to play for you. And it's see if you can help out this listener.
What exactly are they doing at the sewer treatment plant on Oneida Road or 241st? Thank you.
Now, that's pretty far east. Is that still BA? Do you know what she's talking about?
Yes, it is. Great. That's a great question. First off, that is not technically a sewer treatment plant. It's actually what we call a sewer lift station. So this is a great question, and I'm so glad that you asked this question because I get to talk a little bit about our sewer system. So really, based on where people actually the sewage goes, from their drains and so forth, you have to have lift stations in order to lift up the material to get it down to the sewer plant. And that's in the north part of our city. So the lines that exist in the east and in the north part of the community, we have to have the gravity flow. And in some cases, you need a lift station to lift up the material so it flows down to Lynn Lane all the way to the south to be processed. So we have 30 of those lift stations around the community, and those require maintenance every now and then because they're pumps and they're working essentially all the time. And so they're just like any other mechanical piece of equipment. We've got to make improvements to make sure they function correctly. And so this is a great opportunity. That's something that we do on a regular basis to make sure that the system works correctly, because that's a long way that we have to pump that material.
City Manager Michael Spurgeon, thanks for answering, and thank you for your delicacy on that one.
Absolutely.
It's great talking with you. Welcome back, and we look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great week. Look forward to it.
All right, take care.